New multi-viewer magic from Ensemble Designs. Stunning detail and simple setup. Easy, click-to-fill configuration for your Mac, PC, or iPad. The new Avenue Multi-Viewer from Ensemble Designs.
Hi, I'm Phil Kurz with Broadcast Engineering. Today I'm joined by Greg Herman, who's the president of Watch TV. Thanks for joining me, Greg.
Thank you, Phil.
First question is related to the Spectrum repack. Full power Class A stations are going to be repacked following the incentive auction. That's got to raise some challenges for the future of the LPTV industry. So what's your perspective?
A repack is going to be challenging for the industry in general, but it depends on how they repack it. If they provide adequate protection to people with primary spectrum, being the Class A's and the full powers, and they achieve Congress's objective of making sure there isn't any significant degradation to the existing protected contours for those stations, I can't see that it's going to be very promising for low powers. There's going to be some hard displacement there, I would think. But overall, we don't know how much they're going after. We don't know where they're going after it, although there's discussion, obviously, of top 30 markets. So I think the real issue here is we have to get some facts from our regulators. The FCC needs to let the industry know what they're really going to do before anybody can really decide just how severe an impact there's going to be on the low power industry. I would also add to that, though, that probably in the rural areas where spectrum is somewhat plentiful, I can't imagine the low power industry won't at least have some ability to survive.
Okay. Now, you have also been instrumental in trying to advance the television industry from a technology point of view. You are the head of SpectrumEvolution.org, and a few years ago you tried but failed at the FCC to get permission for an experimental license to employ OFDM-based broadcasting at your stations in Portland, I believe.
That's correct.
So where does that effort stand?
Well, we were denied the opportunity to experiment with next generation broadcast technologies, which I think is essential to the future health of all television broadcasters, be they full powers, low powers, or Class A's. ATSC 1.0 is not the envy of the world in terms of its ability to provide a robust signal in particularly a mobile environment. Overlays are not working, and we already have the rest of the world leaving us in the dust. So we really aspired to say, let's show what we can do with these things, let's show what we can do in terms of ancillary services. Particularly low power operators without MVPD access have a really bleak future without new ways to monetize that spectrum and the ability to provide new services. It was beyond our comprehension why the FCC would not just let us try, other than they don't want us to succeed. And I don't say that lightly. I don't think they did want us to succeed. We're really looking at an FCC that is paving over the low power industry as if it doesn't exist. And I think that people viewed our attempts to show the potential bright, shiny future of broadcasting with new technologies as a threat to their ability to just sweep us under the rug.
And where's Spectrum Evolution headed right now?
Well, Spectrum Evolution continues to advocate for next generation services and new ways to use spectrum and new ways to work in concert with wireless devices in terms of technologies that all spectrum holders can use to harmonize this delivery platform. We will continue to try the best we can to get something done in that area. I think right now we're again sitting on the threshold of the FCC getting off their duff and providing some significant data about what they want to do. The one thing I am very proud of, and I think it has confounded a number of people within the commission, is we were successful in getting in the statute language that recognizes flexible use. In exchange for, if you forego relocation funds, you can apply for flexible use. So did we get the camel's nose under the tent? I think we got maybe the whole neck under the tent, but we really have asked in our comments here on the in the last cycle, really have asked the FCC now to define what they think that means. I know what I think it means. Now we're going to see if they agree with me.
Right. Now, Greg, you mentioned that you feel like the commission may be paving over the low power industry. And that's curious to me because I do know there's a big priority at the FCC for diversity of ownership. And I believe you did a study a few years ago that pointed out that there is quite a bit of diversity in broadcast ownership when it comes to the low power market. What are your thoughts about that?
An absolute success in terms of the low power television industry fulfilling the objective of providing low-cost entry points for new broadcasters, access to broadcasting technology, spectrum, and opportunities for females, minorities. I think when we did the survey in 2008, 2009, which we submitted to the FCC and to Congress, we showed that nothing has done a better job at providing these opportunities for women and minorities in particular, and diversity of voices. And yet, having looked at that, even having done their own study, what I see is we don't like that that's successful because it's in the way of our attempts to repurpose spectrum and give it to the wireless industry. Now, I don't really have a problem with the wireless industry. I've got a phone, I've got an iPad, but I do question whether or not they've really deployed in such a way that they're using what they have efficiently. I have a bit of insight into the architecture side and how things are done in other parts of the world. Honestly, this is a spectrum grab. It's a grab so that they can do what they do as monopolists, and that's monopolize. You don't get mad at a shark when you jump in the tank with him and he bites you. That's what sharks do. Well, monopolies monopolize. I think it is short-sighted, however, for the FCC not to elevate and recognize the fact that there is an absolute success story in low power television for providing that diversity, which was the core of your question. And I hope they don't make the mistake of snuffing that industry out of existence for some short-term goal that could be solved through technology and architecture, probably more effectively than just throwing more spectrum at it.
Well, Greg, thanks for taking out a few minutes to share your thoughts.
My pleasure. Thank you, Phil.